Had not over a century of friction between Indians and whites proven that nothing could be gained by talk of peace? When treaties had been signed and boundaries established in the past, had not these whites treated the Indians with unfeigned loathing, and had they not broken the boundaries almost immediately after they were established? This was why the current council at the little Miami River village of Chillicothe was so important to Puxenwa. Largest of the Shawnee towns, it was centrally located to all the septs, and more than 5,000 Shawnee men would be on hand. And this time it would be his turn to speak without interruption in the Msikamiqui. He would pray to Manetho to bring powerful words to his lips that he might convince the Chalagatha and Mekuje septs that there could never exist an equitable peace between Indians and whites. He raised his eyes skyward, but the prayer died a-borning as a huge meteor suddenly plunged into the atmosphere and burst into brilliant greenish-white flame. It streaked across the heavens from the north in an awe-inspiring spectacle which lasted fully 20 seconds. Puxenwa had heard of such occurrences, but not before had he seen anything so breathtaking as this, and the tales of the old people came back to him now. This shooting star was the panther, a great spirit passing over to the south where it seeks a deep hole for sleep. Every night it passes somewhere on the earth to go to that home in the south. It was a good sign indeed, and Puxenwa arose and stepped briskly to the fire where the women were clustered, chattering excitedly, for they too had seen it. From within the temporary shelter came the sharp wail of a baby. Puxenwa waited quietly, the murmur of voices from inside almost lost in the gurgle of water from the great bubbling spring beside the shelter. Soon the infant's crying faded away, and a quarter-hour later one of the women came out, beckoned the chief, and happily told him he had a son. Puxenwa stooped to enter the shelter, and the 3 women inside, giggling delightedly, left to join the others at the fire. Metatasa lay on a bedding of cedar boughs covered with a huge soft buffalo hide, the even softer hide of a deer covering her to the waist. Her breasts were swelled but not yet heavily engorged with the milk which would come in 2 or 3 days. In the crook of her arm slept the newborn child, its skin glistening faintly with a protective coating of bear oil applied by the squaws. Metatasa smiled up at Puxenwa as he knelt to look at the baby. She told him that the other women had seen a great star, the panther, passing across and searching for its home in the south. Puxenwa nodded gravely and told her it was the boy-child's Unsoma. Shawnee custom declares that a boy baby is not named for 10 days after his birth, nor a girl for 12, during which time an Unsoma, notable event, would occur which should indicate what Manetho wished the child to be called. But this time the sign had been given at the very moment of birth, and this was of great importance. Both Puxenwa and Metatasa knew there could be no other name for this boy than the panther passing across. Thus was born and named the Shawnee Indian known as Tecumseh.